If you're a business owner running Google Ads and the results aren't quite there yet, this one's for you. In this video, I'll walk you through 10 different things to check in your ad account right now. Some take only just 2 minutes to fix, while others might be the main reason why your budget's been bleeding for the past couple of months. All right, so we're just gonna get right into it and talk about the first thing, which is making sure that your conversion tracking is working correctly. So there's 2 things you really wanna do. I'm in an account right now, and what you want to do is go into your goals, conversions, and click on your summary right here. And there's 2 things you have to look out for. You just want to make sure that number 1, all of the events that are worthy of being tracked are currently set up. And number 2, that they are set up correctly and that they're actually firing when they should be firing. So right now I'm in a lead gen account right here. And the only thing I'm actually optimizing for is a lead event. So you can see that I only have a submit lead form event, which is all I really need to make this account work. But let's say you're running ecomm at this point, you would probably want to have your purchase event, checkout event, maybe a PDP page view event, and your add to cart events. Whatever events are relevant to the business that you're running, you should have every single one of them set up. So that's kind of the first part. And then the second part is you want to make sure that your conversion events are correctly set up and that they're firing at the right time. That way the data in your account is accurate and the algorithm knows exactly what to optimize for. So for this lead event, for example, what I would want to do is go into Tag Assistant right here. And then from there, I would want to type in my client's URL or the website URL, click on connect, and then submit a lead form. And if it works correctly, I would essentially see the lead form action just fire at the right time. So just have to make sure that that is working correctly. And that's just the first thing. You just have to make sure that the conversion tracking is correctly set up and that it's correctly firing at the right time for all of your events. Moving on to tip number 2, this should be your campaign type mix. So depending on the niche that you are in, you should have different styles of campaigns. So I'm in a lead gen account right here. And personally, I find that what works best for lead gen is when you do unbranded search with a mix of a small budget allocation to display retargeting. This works quite well because I have essentially a main prospecting campaign here where I generate leads from. And then I have a small retargeting campaign here. As you can see, it only spends 40 cents a day, which is about 5% of the total budget, maybe 2% of the total budget. And it's only used to recapture those people who did not actually give me their information the first time around. So as far as lead gen goes, usually I just recommend having an unbranded search campaign and then a small display retargeting campaign to go with that and just keep it simple. If you're doing SaaS, you should have a mix of branded search, unbranded search, and potentially some awareness campaigns such as demand gen and display. But the majority of the spend should be allocated towards your non-branded campaigns and keep the spend minimal on your branded search campaigns. And then for ecom, it should usually be a mix of performance max, shopping, and branded search. And if you're spending a lot, you should maybe throw unbranded search into the mix. So you just want to go through and make sure that for each of your campaigns that the allocations on budgets make sense and that you're spending more on new customer acquisition and prospecting and less on retargeting. That's kind of the first thing you want to check. And then just make sure that the campaign types work well for your niche and that you're not just using shopping campaigns, for example, for a lead gen campaign. Moving on to tip number 3 is to analyze your keywords. So right here, I'm in an account for lead gen. And what I can do is I can click on my keywords here on the left for this campaign and open up, let's say, a bigger date range of, let's say, the previous 90 days and just analyze which keywords are working well. So right here, I can sort these by cost. I like to sort it by cost because I usually like to have the top spending keywords at the top to show me the most meaningful results. And from here, I like to just scroll down this list and look for 2 key things. Number 1, I'm looking for keywords that are getting a cost per conversion or cost per lead in this case that is too high, and keywords that are spending a lot of money without getting any conversions at all. And I just want to go through this list and make sure that I'm not actually burning any money on underperforming keywords. So the way I would do that here is I'd order them by cost like I just did, and then I'd start looking at the cost per conversion for each one. So I can see if I scroll down that my account average right now is at $17.90. And for example, this first keyword up here, which is my top spending keyword, is getting an average of $17.91. So that's only a cent above my average. That's fine. I might as well keep it running because it's also getting the highest volume of leads. So that is totally fine. But what I want to look out for are potentially other keywords which are getting a cost per lead that is a little bit too high. For example, I can see that this one right here has only spent $75 compared to the top keyword, which spent $300, but it's only generated 2 leads so far. And I can see that that has come at a cost of $37 a lead, which is more than double my lead cost. So if I want to lower the cost per lead on my account, then pausing a keyword like this might be a good idea as an optimization. Another thing I'd want to look at for here is, for example, are there any keywords that have not generated any leads, such as this bottom one right here? So I can see that this one has not generated any leads in the past 90 days. I can also see though that it only spent $2.63. So I'm willing to just keep testing that and just let it run because we haven't spent enough to essentially make the call to pause this specific keyword. So in a case like that, I would leave it turned on. But if you see a keyword that is not converting and has spent way too much money, it's probably a good idea to turn that off. So that's a summary of the third thing. Just just go through your keywords and just make sure that there's no keywords that have a CPC that's too high, a cost per conversion that's too high, or spending a lot of money without getting any conversions at all. Moving on to the fourth tip, which is checking your search terms. And this is somewhat related to the keywords. The keywords is what you actually target within your ad account, and the search terms are what people actually end up searching before seeing your ads. And so in order to see these, what you want to do is click on your insights and reports and click on search terms. And every once in a while, what you want to do is just go down this list and make sure that your search terms are relevant and that they're similar to the keywords that you are targeting. And the whole goal of this is to find anything that's irrelevant and then add that as a negative keyword. That way it does not trigger your ads again. That way your ads are going to be shown to more and more and more relevant searches over time and less irrelevant searches, which would generally bring your conversion rate up and optimize your account as a whole. This is the fundamental basis of how Google Ads works. It's all based on keywords and search terms. So you want to make sure that your traffic remains as relevant as possible, considering the niche that you're in. So for here, right now, we're essentially targeting buyers who are looking for a home in Calgary, Alberta, or surrounding areas of Calgary. So what I want to do in a case like this is expand the number of search terms. I can look at just a week since it's not necessary to look at the full 90-day window here. And what I want to do is just scroll down to see if I find anything that's irrelevant. So something like this, houses for sale, Calgary, that's totally relevant. And that's exactly the type of search I'm going after. So things like that are fine. But then if I keep scrolling down, I can see that there are weird search terms like this that come up. This is not even in the English language. So this is something I would probably want to take note of and mark as an exclusion that I want to add. This here too, Trestle Creek, this is not a location that I'm actually currently targeting. It is a bit too far away, so I'd actually mark this as irrelevant too. So that's also something I'd want to take note of. And so what you want to do is just go down your list of search terms on a regular basis, find all of the ones that are irrelevant. And once you've found all of them, you want to click up here, click on add negative keywords, and then add them respectively as negative keywords. This one right here is an example I will leave on as a negative exact match keyword, whereas here, the main part of the keyword that I don't like is Trestle Creek. So what I can do is remove this and put Trestle Creek under phrase match. That way, if any search term containing Trestle Creek ever gets typed in the future, it will never show my ad. That way it encompasses a bigger amount of search terms for the same negative keyword. And I can click on save like that. So make sure you do this often. Just go through your search terms often and make sure that nothing irrelevant is triggering your ads. Moving on to tip number 5 now, this has to do with location targeting. So for each of your campaigns, you want to make sure that your location settings are correctly put in place. The way you do this is you go on your campaigns right here, and then one by one, you want to go through all of your campaigns, hover over here and click on that gear icon. From here, the settings will open and you'll want to scroll down to the location settings. So if I scroll down here, I can see my locations are right there. So I'm targeting 5 different locations. And specifically what I'm talking about here are the location options. You have 2 different settings that you can choose from. One of them is presence or interest, and one of them is presence only. Right now, I'm targeting presence only. This means that the ads will only be shown to people in these locations. Whereas when you click presence or interest, that will be shown to people within those locations or are interested in those locations. 90% of the time, you want to be clicking on presence only. That way, someone in a foreign country that you don't want seeing your ads does not trigger the ads. So most of the time, if you want to save money on your ads and avoid your ad spend going down the drain, I suggest that you go on presence only. There are specific instances where presence or interest makes sense, but just double check that if this is turned on, that you have a good reason to have that turned on this way. So that's it for the location settings. Now we'll move on to the next one. But before we do that, if you like this video so far, feel free to give me a like and a subscribe below. That way you're updated on my newest videos to come. Okay, now for tip number 6, and this is double checking that your ad scheduling is always set to 24/7. So the way you do this is you go down on the left here, select any one of the campaigns that you're running in your ad account, and make sure you just do this for all of your campaigns. Then you're gonna go to the left here, and under audiences, keywords, and content dropdown, you're gonna wanna click on ad schedule. So what I can see here is that my ads are essentially serving 24/7 and that there's no restrictions. In most cases, you will want to make sure that this is the case for you too. I've rarely managed ads in a niche where fiddling with this area and only running ads at certain times of the day makes the performance go up. What happens if, let's say, you don't run ads on Saturdays and Sundays is what you're doing is twice a week, you're turning your ads off and you're turning it back on. That's pretty much equivalent to just putting a campaign on pause and returning the campaign back on, which generally speaking in media buying is bad practice and will generally worsen your result. So usually I like to stay away from this area and just make sure my ads always serve on 24/7 because that typically improves your results dramatically. There might be certain instances where you might want to use this. Let's say that you absolutely just cannot answer the phone and call leads on a Sunday and that there's no exceptions. By all means, go ahead and remove the Sunday from showing your ads. But in most cases, if if you can try to be flexible, try to keep it open to 24/7. It will probably help your results. Okay, next up is the ads. So you want to make sure that the ad copy is relevant to the keywords that you're currently targeting and that the ad copy is convincing as well. And then I'll touch on the quality score a little bit as we get into an ad here. So if I want to go into this ad right here, this is where I'm targeting Calgary home buyers. I can go on this ad right here, and what I want to do is just double check that my ad copy is well written, that I'm using essentially pins to make sure that certain headlines only show up at a certain position within my ad. And then I just want to make sure that all of my headlines are relevant to what I'm targeting. So right here, I can see that my first headline is Calgary property search. That is super relevant to the keywords I'm targeting, so that's fine. And I can just scroll down this list and just double check that all of these headlines are relevant to what I'm doing. If you ever find a headline that was either auto-generated or something that is irrelevant, make sure you just tweak it to make sure that it aligns with the keywords that you're targeting more, because it'll increase the click-through rate as people are going to be more likely to click on your ad if it's relevant to the keyword that they typed. The second thing I want to take note of is the ad quality score. So this used to not really be relevant. I used to run a bunch of ads on a poor rating and it wouldn't make any difference. But nowadays I've noticed that Google puts more of an emphasis on this. Ads that have a higher strength tend to get a higher click-through rate and also a lower cost per click. And so generally speaking, it's good practice to have your ads preferably on a good or excellent standing, but at a minimum on an average standing. So right here, I can see that I'm on an average, and it's telling me how I can essentially improve that, with the main one being making my headlines more unique. So I can click on that right here, and it's essentially giving me a couple headlines that I can add, which would make my headlines more unique. So homes for sale is somewhat relevant, so I could actually add that as a headline. I could have this 8537 active listings. To me, that's actually a pretty relevant headline. And so what I want to do is just go through the suggestions it's telling me and potentially add a few of them, but only add them if the headlines are relevant themselves. If you see a headline up here, which Google is suggesting, but is irrelevant to the keywords that you're actually targeting, don't just add it because Google is telling you to do that. Only add it if the headline is actually relevant in the first place. So I can see right now that it's also suggesting these types of headlines. Shop online now. I'm doing lead gen for real estate in this case. This has nothing to do with e-com. So this is a good example of a headline that I don't want to add, even though Google is recommending it. So that's it for this tip. Just make sure you go through your headlines, make sure they're relevant, make sure your ad quality score is as high as possible, and make sure that the headlines are convincing in the first place. Next up has to do with the landing page. So just like your ad has to be relevant to the keywords, the landing page where you're bringing traffic to has to be relevant to the ad. So right now I'm doing real estate lead gen. So in a case like this, I'm bringing traffic to a page that looks like this. So essentially here I'm targeting people who are searching for homes for sale in the Calgary area. I'm then showing them an ad which essentially displays that exactly as a headline. And then once they click on the ad, I'm bringing them essentially to a page here, which is an MLS live feed showing them all the homes for sale in Calgary. So from A to Z, from keyword to ad to the landing page, everything is essentially saying the same thing at that point, and they're all related to real estate home buyers, and it's super relevant. So that is something you want to keep in mind. You always want to make sure that your landing page is to the point, it's convincing, and it's very relevant to your ad. Otherwise, people are just going to bounce. And so in order to bring that conversion rate up, make sure that your landing page is always relevant and that it's very similar to what you've written down in terms of your ad copy. So that's it for the 8th tip. Moving on to the next one, and this is making sure that you are using the correct bid strategy. So if I go into my campaigns right here, I can see that I have 2 different campaigns, and if I scroll to the left, I can find the bid strategy I'm currently using. So right now, for both of these campaigns, I'm using the maximize conversion bid strategy, which in my opinion is a good strategy to be using specifically for lead gen. Now, if I go and click here, there's multiple different types of bid strategies you can use, and I suggest you use a different one depending on the type of niche that you're running ads in. So I can click this gear icon to show you the different types, and I can scroll down to my bidding strategy right here. And if I click on change bid strategy, I can see that there's a bunch of different types. In my opinion, if you're doing lead gen, use maximizing conversions. And then once you've had results for at least 2 or 3 months, from there, you can set a TCPA attached to that maximizing conversion bidding strategy. If you're doing SaaS, I also suggest that you go for maximize conversions, and after some time, you add a TCPA. If you're doing e-com, you should use either max conversions or max conversion value. In my opinion, if you only have one product in your store and you just have one main hero product that always sells for the same price, maximizing conversions is also fine, and you can set a TCPA once you've had a couple results. But if you run an e-com store which has multiple different products for multiple different price points and multiple different styles, at that point, a maximizing conversion value strategy works best, in my opinion, to which you can then attach a TROAS after a couple of results have come in after maybe a month or 2 of running ads. And then finally, the last bid strategy that you can use is impression share. This is only a bid strategy that I use for branded search campaigns. I use this bid strategy primarily to keep the focus on branded search to protect the brand. That way, the goal of that campaign is to rank the ad as #1 and not to necessarily get the most amount of conversions out of that campaign. So as a quick recap, if you're doing lead gen or SaaS, I recommend you always use max conversions or TCPA. If you're doing ecomm, either max conversions or max conversion value. For most cases, conversion value works better, especially with the T-ROAS, but if you only have one product, then max conversions tends to work a little bit better. Then if you're doing branded search, I suggest you use target impression share. That tends to be the winning one. And then no matter what you do or what niche you're in or what campaign type you're running, never use maximize clicks. This always just burns your ad spend and is a complete waste of money. So I just suggest that you never use this. So that's it for the bid strategies. Now we're just gonna move on to the final recommendation, which is the auto apply settings. So for this is in every single Google Ads account. You wanna click on your recommendations tab up here. From there, you're gonna click on view list and you're gonna click on auto apply settings. And from here, you want to make sure that 0 out of the 7 here are selected and that 0 out of the 14 here are selected. You also want to make sure that these are actually unticked and then clicking this drop down here, making sure that all of these boxes are unticked. If you see a single box that is ticked, just untick it and make sure that all of them are blank. What these auto recommendations do is they'll essentially take these recommendations, a lot of which are actually quite harmful on your Google Ads account, and it'll just auto apply all of them whenever the algorithm wants to auto apply them. This is something where you need to regain control over your ad account, and having this disabled and making sure that you only turn on recommendations if you want them to and to be manually optimizing your account instead of just letting Google do whatever it wants with your ad spend. So hopefully that gives you a clear, full step-by-step way on how to give yourself an audit to your own Google Ads account. So at this point, you should have a pretty solid idea of what's actually working in your ad account and what potentially needs a little bit of fixing. If you have any questions on anything I talked about today, or if you think I missed something crucial within this video, feel free to drop that in the comments and I can get back to you as soon as I can. And if you'd like someone to run an audit for you or just manage your Google and Facebook ads for you, then feel free to book a call using the link in the description below. That way me and you can have a chat. Apart from that, I hope you found this video useful and I'll see you on the next one.